All right, one of the common mistakes I saw this weekend is base running going to first base. Now, when we hit a routine ground ball or a play that where there's going to be a play at first base, we got to bust it down the line and get to first base as quick as we can in a straight line. Okay, there's two other ways this can go, and we need to understand that we need to adjust our base running based off of this. If we hit a ground ball and at first we're not sure if it's going to get through or if a guy's going to make a play on it, of course we're going to start straight down the line, okay? And as we're heading down the line, we're going to peek in. We notice the ball has gotten through the infield. We're going to start the banana out, get nice and wide so that we can hit the inside of the bag and take a good solid turn. Where a lot of guys are making a mistake is on line drives to the outfield or fly balls to the outfield. Guys are running straight down the line and they can't take a good turn. Okay, when we've hit a ball that we know is surely into the outfield, okay, a line drive, a fly ball, balls in the gap, balls to an outfielder, we immediately want to get wide out of the box so that as we get to first base, we're rounding the bag, hitting the inside of the bag, and we're in a good line so that we can take the extra base and get to second base, or at least take a good hard turn and put pressure on the defense. All right, too many times this weekend, whether it was the 11U or 12U, regardless of the type of ball guys hit, they were just running straight down the line and sometimes all the way through the bag and balls out in left field. All right, our next base running mistake was at third base, okay? When we're at third base, let's say I've got a right-handed pitcher on the mound. Usually I'm facing a right-hander. All right, I'm gonna be in my lead, okay? I'm in a nice conservative lead. I can get as much as the third baseman's gonna give me. So the farther he is away from third base, the more I can get. But let's say that we're in an average position. I've got to make sure that my pitcher commits to the plate because I can't have him lift up and come over to third base. So I'm going to get a late secondary, but I'm going to make sure my eyes are on the ball at all times. I'm going to make sure he commits to the plate, and then I'm going to take 2 steps, and I'm on my front foot ready to react to the baseball as the ball's entering the hitting zone. All right? Coaches are going to tell you before a play what you're doing on a ground ball. Okay, so on a ground ball, we might be reading down angle contact. So we get a ground ball, we're taking off. Coach may tell you we got to see it through. If they got the corners up and the middle deep, they may tell you see it in the middle. But they're going to give you instructions on what to do on a ground ball. On any ball hit in the air, I am immediately sprinting back to the bag. Okay. Too many guys, they see good contact and they think, oh, it's going to be a base hit, and they take off, and now they don't have a chance to tag. If the ball drops, okay, if a guy hits the ball in the outfield and it drops, we're going to score easily. So once we've taken our 2 steps, our secondary, we see upward contact, we're immediately back to the bag, and we're setting ourselves up so that we could tag if there's less than 2 outs. Now, obviously, with 2 outs, we're going on contact. There's no questions there. But too many times, guys see good contact and they kind of spaz out and they take off. All right, as soon as you see upward contact, sprint back to the bag. If the ball falls, you score easily anyways. And if the ball's caught, maybe a guy makes a great play in the outfield, a dive and catch, maybe he catches a ball at the warning track, whatever it is, we can easily tag and score, okay? But we can't kind of freak out and start taking off thinking, oh man, he just crushed that ball. And now all of a sudden we can't tag on a ball that's caught. All right, next, when I'm the relay guy on a cut situation, so ball to the outfield, and I could be the first or third baseman on a relay to the plate. I could be the middle guy on a relay to third, whatever it is. All right, as I go out as the relay guy, I want to make sure that I'm setting up as a big target for the cut guy or for the guy throwing the ball in. Okay, when I've got the outfielder throwing the ball in, I want to make sure he sees me. So I got hands in the air. All right, I'm able to move. I'm in a good athletic position. And as that ball's coming to me, I can't just catch the ball in front of me with my back to where the ball's going. Okay, I need to set my feet once I see the throw so that I can catch the ball and make a good solid transfer and get the ball to the relay, to the base, whether it's going to third or whether it's going to home. So I'm setting up, I'm a big target, I see the throws online, now I set my body to make a catch, and I can make a good relay. I can't catch the ball with my back to where I need to be throwing it, and then all of a sudden have to turn around and make a strong throw to the plate. All right. Whoever, our communicator has got to be loud, all right, which typically obviously is going to be the catcher, has got to be loud, making a call and letting the guy know where the ball's going when he receives it. All right, a lot of times we're afraid to make calls and we don't communicate very well. All right, but we've got to make sure our technique's better on relays, both from a communication standpoint and then as the relay guy with our technique. All right, pitchers defensively. You guys have more than one job. Okay, your only job isn't to just deliver the pitch. Way too often, all right, our pitchers never move off the mound, okay? So they'll deliver a pitch, ball's put in play, and I look up at the end of the play and our pitchers are still standing on the mound. All right, there's always somewhere to go. All right, and I'm gonna cover two scenarios. Number one, anytime that I deliver a pitch and there is a ground ball to my left, I am immediately thinking that I'm going to have to cover first base. All right, so I deliver a pitch, ball's hit on the ground to my left, I start to get my route to get over to first to cover the bag. I can always shut it down if the first baseman fields a ball and tells me he's got the bag. If the ball's to the second baseman and first baseman's covering, I can always shut it down. But we'll deliver a pitch, ball's hit to our left, first baseman and second baseman both go for it, and now we don't have anybody covering first base, okay? Need to make sure as the pitcher that as soon as there's a ground ball to your left, your immediate reaction is thinking, I've got to go cover the bag. The second piece, and the one that I see constantly, and it drives me absolutely insane, and I watch high school teams lose baseball games because pitchers refuse to do their job, but when I deliver a pitch and a ball is hit into the outfield, I have to back up a base, okay? I do not stand here and turn around and watch. I am not the cut man, all right? I will split the difference between home plate and third base, and I will get as far over as I can. So typically over by the dugout, over by the fence, and I'm going to see where the ball is going, all right? If there was nobody on base and there's a ball hit deep in the gap, all right, chances are the play's probably going to be at third, or the relay throw's probably coming to third, trying to keep the guy from getting a triple. But I'm going to split the difference, so halfway between third and home, I get as far into foul territory as I can get. When I see the ball's coming towards third or we get a 3 call, I'll start to slide down so that I'm in line with the throw, backing up third base. If the play is going to be at home, so let's say there was a runner on first base, ball's in the gap and the runner on first base may score, or there's a runner on second base and it's a clean single right to an outfielder, now a potential play is at home plate, so I'm going to sprint and get myself behind home plate to back up the throw, okay? Every single time I'm watching us play right now, our pitchers just stand in the middle of the mound and think they're a cutoff man, or they're just a spectator. We've got to do a better job backing up bases. All right, next. I am the first baseman. There's a runner on third base, all right? And honestly, it's more of a multi-runner situation, but we got a runner at third base, and there's a wild pitch, all right? Catcher's gonna retrieve the wild pitch. Pitcher's going to cover home plate. As the first baseman, I need to be sprinting to about the front of the mound, okay? Now, depending on where the wild pitch went, my angle could be a little different because I want to make sure I'm in line for an overthrow, but I've got to make sure that I'm sprinting to back up the pitcher so that if the catcher turns and throws the ball to the pitcher, trying to get the guy at home on the wild pitch, and he overthrows him, I can back it up so that the trail runner cannot continue to go. All right, every season that I've ever coached baseball, we have scored multiple runs on a wild pitch because other teams don't do this correctly. And let's say we've got second and third, wild pitch, our guy scores. I've got our guy that's on second sprinting all the way to third, and then when that ball gets thrown past the pitcher covering, there's never anybody in the middle of the infield doing their job, and we wind that other runner and we end up scoring 2 runs on a wild pitch. Our first basemen have got to sprint to the front of the mound and then adjust your angle just based off of the line of the throw back to the pitcher. All right, hitters. We've got to learn how to protect ourselves when a pitch is inside and we think it's going to hit us. Okay, right now, every time a ball is inside, we're either getting this here, all right, a ball's coming towards us and guys are dropping to the ground to try to get out of the way. You're gonna look really bad as soon as you start seeing good pitching, okay? Because as you see breaking balls, okay, as you see guys with the ability to throw a decent curveball, decent slider, all right, and guys that throw hard, we need as much time to make decisions as we can. And what we've got to do to protect ourselves is just an inward turn, okay? If I'm that guy jumping out of the way or falling to the ground every time a ball looks like it's going to be inside and might hit me, all right, I'm going to be in trouble, okay? I've got to make sure that I am turning inside, all right, so that I'm giving, if the ball is going to hit me, it's going to hit me on the backside, okay? I'm protecting myself, I'm protecting my hands, okay, and I'm getting my bat down, okay? I don't want to leave my bat in the air and risk taking fouling the ball off, ball hitting my bat, okay? But I can't be jumping out of the way, all right? I've got to turn my backside in, and if I get hit, I get hit. It is what it is, okay? Obviously, we're not up there like looking to get hit by the ball, okay? But we need to make sure that we're protecting ourselves, and we're also giving us the best chance to have as much time to react to different pitch types as we go along. All right, just a few other details real quick. Number one, I should never, ever, ever see our guys walking on or off the field, okay? This weekend between innings, handful of times it took us a long time to get on the field to play defense. I don't care if you're playing first base and we're in the first base dugout and you got 10 feet to go, we're always sprinting on the field and sprinting off the field. All right, the pitcher can walk. Every other player, first baseman, catcher, infielders, outfielders, you guys are sprinting out to your position and sprinting off the field after the third out's made. Okay, only the pitcher can walk on and off the field. Pitchers, we should never slide step. Okay, and if you wonder what I mean by that, go ahead and ask your coaches. All right, but pitchers should never slide step. There's too many times where we're slide stepping, trying to be quick to the plate, and we can't throw strikes or we can't locate pitches, and now all of a sudden we're trying to hold the running game, and it's really just causing us to put more runners on base. Okay, we can learn how to have a good tempo, how to use looks, picks, step-offs, holds, all this sort of stuff to hold a running game, all right? But a slide step is going to prevent us from doing our number one job, which is making good pitches, and we need to have an understanding of how we can make good pitches and control the running game at the same time. Another thing is base running. Okay, both teams this weekend were in situations to where we are down by multiple runs, and we are really taking some unnecessary risks on the base paths when we still need more base runners to even have a chance to tie or go ahead. Okay, we've got to be more conservative in our leads when we're down. We've got to be smarter in terms of trying to steal bases and get big time jumps. Fortunately in the 12U game, it didn't end up being what did us in, but we actually I take that back. It did. But 3 times we ultimately tried to give our opponent the third out of the inning. All right. Now twice they didn't execute a rundown. They didn't get it. Okay. But then third time we ended up, giving them an out on the base pass, and now we don't have a chance to swing the bats. We had the middle of our order up, and we were back in the game with a chance to do some damage. Runners on base. We're getting picked off. We're taking unnecessary risk stealing bases when we're down 3, 4, 5 runs. Okay, we've got to make sure that we understand the situation, and if there is any value, like true value, in us stealing a bag or taking an extra base. Okay, we've got to know situations in the game. Of course, if a game's tied, we might be a little more aggressive. Okay, if it's a 1-run game, potentially a little more aggressive. Just depends on the situation. But we were down multiple runs, and honestly, gave gave them the third out 3 times. It was their inability to execute defensively that allowed us to kind of give us a mulligan on the first 2. All right, another thing defensively, our corner infielders need to have a better understanding of when they are the cut man to home plate. Okay, our first baseman, excuse me, I'll do it this way. Our third baseman, if we've got a runner on second base and there's a sharp single to left, all right, you are going to be the cutoff to home plate. So you've got to dart in, shortstop's going to come around and cover third base, and you are the cut to the plate. All right, we can't get stuck out in no man's land with no cut guy to the plate. Now our left fielder comes up and throws the ball home, and the batter runner that's now rounding first base can take off and head to second. Our first baseman, you're going to be the cut to home on basically everything else. Okay, so man on second, ground ball to center, or a base hit to center, base hit to right, extra base hits with a man on first. All right, you're going to be the cut to the plate in that situation. Okay, we've got to make sure as corner infielders we have a better idea of when we are the cut man to home. All right, the next thing defensively, anytime a ball is put in play, there should be 9 defensive players in motion doing something. Okay, you're either obviously retrieving the ball if the ball is hit towards you, hit in your direction, but if you are not going after the ball, you are either covering a base, a cut man or a relay man, okay, or you are backing up a potential throw. There was way too many times, especially in the 11U game, where a ball would be put in play, and you know, obviously a guy or two is going after it. There'd be a guy or two moving, and we'd have about 5 guys just standing in the middle of nowhere doing nothing, not backing a ball up, not in position to cut the ball, not covering a base, just kind of standing in no man's land. And you know, I would rather have you guys be aggressive and make a mistake doing the wrong thing, all right, than just stand there and doing nothing. Okay, if you're not retrieving the ball, you're either covering a base, you are a relay guy or a cut man, all right, or you are backing up a base. Okay, we've got to make sure that we do a better job with that. All right, and last thing, just to kind of wrap things up here. All right, the game of baseball has an infinite number of situations, plays, occurrences. Okay, a lot of them are extremely similar. Okay, but there's no 2 that are exactly alike, and it's important for us to be able to react to situations. All right. Coaches can cover stuff all they want in practice, but in a game, everything's not going to look exactly as it's scripted in practice, and we have to do a better job of recognizing when we're in those situations, what type of ball we're playing, what our responsibility is, when things might look just a little bit different than how they have been rehearsed. The best way to learn how to do that is watch as much baseball as you can. Okay? Unfortunately, one of the things nowadays that I don't know why, but it's like if you ask kids nowadays, you know, if they watch baseball games or who their favorite team is, their favorite player, you way too often get, well, I don't really watch baseball. I don't like to watch it on TV. I just like to play the game. You show me a guy that doesn't like to watch baseball or doesn't watch baseball, and I'll show you a guy that's going to make a lot of mental mistakes on the field because he hasn't prepared himself to understand the game that he is playing. I challenged our 11U team yesterday, and I challenge all our teams, okay? Sit down at least once a week and watch an entire Major League Baseball game, okay? That is the game played at the highest level. Watch at least one full game a week. That doesn't mean highlights. That doesn't mean get on YouTube and pull up web gems and bat flips and home runs. It means watch the game, how the game's played, watch the positions you play, watch what players do in certain situations, watch how they react to stuff, watch how they respond, but watch the game of baseball. The more baseball that you watch on television, the more different scenarios that you are going to see, the more different situations you are going to see, and you're going to be way more prepared for them than if you were to just sit there and just play the game, go to practice, hear your coach say stuff, and then not necessarily see those situations in live action until it's too late, and then you're kind of left wondering what you should have done or what you didn't do. Okay, watch the game of baseball. Players that watch the game of baseball, players that truly love the game of baseball and care about the type of player they are and want to get better and take ownership of their development, watch baseball on TV. Okay, I have never seen a high-level baseball player that has reached his potential that tells me he doesn't like to watch the game of baseball.